I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's do it to it, right?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a
liftoff. Don't be mad. Summer's almost over. Look on the bright side. Football is back. It's almost hoodie season, the most elite weather known to mankind. Perfect for yelling at the TV and begging for one more catch for a player on your fantasy team. Welcome to episode 28. I am Ian Rice. This is Rice on the mics. And here's the lineup today. We start local in the NFL. The Jets slapped a captaincy on Justin Fields, fourth system in 5 years. The staff is preaching patience and operation, but Week 1 versus Pittsburgh will tell the truth and set the tone. Then we go over to the Giants, where the QB room is weirdly functional and actually fun. Russ is the adult in the room. Jameis is the late-night yoga personality hire. And rookie Jackson Dart is there just soaking it up, trying to figure it out. Then the league bombshell that just flipped the NFC. Micah Parsons is a Packer. We'll talk why the Packers finally went all in and why the Cowboys might have just set their own defense on fire. Baseball after that, Nolan McLean did something Seaver, Doc, and deGrom never did. The Mets bats finally woke up, and another young stud is on the way up. In the Bronx, Yankees got dog walked by Boston and then took care of business with the Nats. Stanton mashed, Schlittler shoved, and Volpe's mini benching didn't really fix much. Around the league, Cal Riley joins Mickey Mantle. Zach Wheeler's season is done. And the Brewers might have peaked at the wrong time. We'll sneak in some U.S. Open quick hitters, and then we'll land this plane with some fantasy. Rashee Rice suspension, Najee Harris gets activated, Joe Mixon's in trouble, plus some high floor running backs and late round tight ends that you can target. All right, crack the knuckles, grab your coffee, locals first. Jets and Giants, then we'll get messy with Micah. Stay tuned.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
We kick things off this week with the Jets. And unfortunately, it's with a little Justin Fields reality check. The brass at Florham Park, they put the C on Justin. And the messaging feels grown up, which is good. It's optimism with a little side of patience, I guess. GM Darren Muji got quoted as saying that he can be one of those guys, but it takes time. And he was kind of referencing like Baker Mayfield on another team, Sam Darnold on another team. But this is his fourth system in 5 years. And that is a lot of mental rewiring. From the verbiage to the checkouts to just learning his new personnel. But I don't know, whatever stock you put into the preseason, it told the story of a QB still settling in. You could see that. Goes 4 for 9 with 46, but no throws longer than 9 yards in the air. But he did flash the wheels a little bit with a 13-yard TD run when the pocket collapsed. So they're trying to. He's figuring out. Again, it's preseason. Who cares, right? Tanner Engstrand, the OC, he just keeps hammering the same thing home: operation and command. That's what he's telling the media, and that's kind of the mountain that Fields has to climb, right? Career 61% completion percentage. His game is going to be make the layups and don't miss the big plays when they present themselves. And around him, after Garrett Wilson, it's prove it territory. I mean, Josh Reynolds is somewhat steady, I guess, and they got a rookie tight end in Mason Taylor who could quietly put up some numbers just based upon volume alone if he's going to be the number 2. And again, they're going to start splitting Breece Hall out to like the slot maybe. Week 1 versus Pittsburgh is going to be the truth serum, though. Being named captain is cool. But third down rhythm is what buys you some patience in this town. This team is going to play a boring brand of football this year. It's going to be run, short pass. But if it's one thing that this fan base knows, is that that is a path to success for us, at least. Hard-nosed coach, tough defense, smash-mouth football with a QB that isn't asked to do too much. That's how the Jets went to back-to-back AFC championships. So if that's what it takes to get there, shut up and take my money. I'm good. Sign me up. Now, on to the Giants. The room and the rookie. This QB room, which everybody thought was maybe a disaster to start, actually looks kind of fun and functional, if I'm being honest. Russell Wilson is the disgustingly consistent adult in the room. He's policing tempo and showcasing that he can still throw the deep ball, being on wide receivers' asses by texting them about route detail and all that good stuff, being the real leader of the room, right? Then it's Jameis Winston. He is the vibes guy, the personality hire, the teammate that keeps things light and make sure everyone is having some fun, staying out of their own heads. Between a little late night yoga and stretching with Jackson Dart, he's been the QB that's been last off the field, throwing to the young receivers to make sure that everyone is getting involved. And that's a tough role to swallow this late in your career. But then he's also eating W's on the sideline with Dart after the Patriots game. So the front office tried everything. Right? They poked around Stafford. They maybe wanted Rodgers. They considered moving up for Cam Ward. They even studied Shador. And here's where they landed. Russ and Jameis for now. Jackson Dart for tomorrow. That's not bad. They even told teams no on trading Jameis because he matters to the room and he matters to the kids. He's really come a long way since stealing crab legs out of Florida State. Now, my sermon to Giant fans. I know you want to see the kid in action. But trust me when I say this, the worst thing that you could do is rush Jackson Dart. Look at the schedule and the front sevens that you're going to be facing and setting him up for. It's going to be a recipe for disaster if you want to start him right away. First off, you got Washington's line, which is no joke. Then you got Chiefs with Chris Jones and Chargers with Khalil Mack. That's exactly how you teach bad habits fast, by putting him against players like that. To quote the replacements, what's your biggest fear? Quicksand. One thing goes wrong, and then another, and then another, and before you know it, you feel like you're getting swallowed up like quicksand. The best thing for Jackson Dart is to let him marinate. Let him learn. It's clear that his time will come. But for now, don't rush it. Wilson is enough of a pro to sneak out some wins that you guys probably could have had last year without Daniel Jones. And if he gets hurt, Jameis will come in and, yeah, he'll throw some picks. But guess what? He's also going to throw some bombs to Neighbors. Speaking of Neighbors, by the way, he said the back tightness was a minor thing and then he's going to be ready for week 1. He lives on volume, and he led the league last year in 11.3 targets per game. So with Russ and calling him a threat at every depth level on the field, that's your heartbeat right there. That's your bread and butter. So mix in some hard running with Tracy and Scatterbo, along with a stout front seven that is being touted as a strong Giants defense. I hate to even say this, the Giants, even with a terrible schedule, they could maybe make a little bit of noise here. Now, you'll notice that when I was reading off the D-lines that the Giants will be facing in the first 4 weeks, I left off Dallas. And that is because Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. Like I've been saying the past couple weeks, if you've been listening, I've been all over this. Jerry Jones and his ego gets in the way of holding on to a generational player, and Dallas ships him off for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. Green Bay follows that up immediately, gives him a 4-year, $188 million, 120 fully guaranteed, richest non-quarterback deal ever. Here's my plain English take, okay? The Cowboys straight up got fleeced. look, they get Kenny Clark back, and he's a good pro. Don't get me wrong. But he turns 30 this season. And with all due respect, he can't hold Micah's jock. And the two firsts, if Micah is Micah, which now that he got traded, he's going to be playing with a fucking vengeance, Green Bay is going to be picking late, like mid to late 20s more than likely. So you traded an apex predator for a solid defensive tackle and two likely late first-round picks, which, though, you'll probably be using to try and find an edge rusher. Cool, man. Cool plan. Here's what else you could have done. You could have just paid the youngest, best edge rusher in football. And this isn't like the Jets trading Jamal Adams to a fading Seattle where the picks age like wine. By the way, those picks turned into AVT and Garrett Wilson, for the record. This is Micah Parsons, 26-year-old in his prime, getting traded to an ascending Packers team that already broke character by drafting Matthew Golden in the first round. First time they drafted a receiver in 20 years. They spent in free agency, and now they've added the league's scariest non-Aaron Donald defender. They acted like a team that sees a window, and they jumped all over it. And as for Dallas, well, congratulations. You have now created a leadership and identity void a week before kickoff. Once again, prove to the league that your owner is a hothead, got absolutely fleeced in a trade for a player. I mean, the Khalil Mack deal was 2 first-rounders, a third, and a sixth. And Khalil Mack, nothing against him, is shit on the shoe compared to Micah. Parsons gave you 4 years, 4 Pro Bowls, never less than 12 sacks a year, and he totaled 52.5 over those 4 years. Him and Reggie White are the only two guys to start like that. Reggie White. But you don't replace that guy with a committee of picks. And you don't trade that guy away. You put your ego aside and you figure out the differences. Paradoxically, though, from a fantasy aspect, this actually helps Cowboys fantasy pieces. A worsened defense equals more shootouts. And by losing Micah, they are going to be in more shootouts. So that's more volume for Dak, more volume for CeeDee Lamb, and more volume for George Pickens. Also, wide receivers and QBs get a little bit of bump against Dallas defense. And the Packers defense, if you want to stream, now gets a little bit stronger. Look, the long or the short, if I had to explain team building in 4 steps to someone brand new to the game, to an alien that just landed on the planet, right? This is how it would go. It would be step 1, get a quarterback. Step 2, get someone to attack their quarterback. Step 3, get someone to protect your quarterback. And step 4, get someone for your quarterback to throw to. 4 easy steps, right? Dallas just traded away arguably the best player in football at the second most important job on that list. Well done, guys. All right. We'll wrap this segment up with some league news. Rashee Rice accepts his 6-game suspension. KC keeps 8 wide receivers on their roster planning for this, and we'll dive a little deeper in that in the fantasy segment later. Najee Harris gets activated by the Chargers. Doesn't guarantee he's going to play week 1 in Brazil, but it does signal that they don't expect him to be in as bad a shape as they thought he was. I mean, at one point, it looked like he couldn't even open his eye. So I guess Harbaugh's willing to trust somebody that has vision problems already. Joe Mixon gets sent to the IR, and he's out at least 4 weeks, and Nick Cassero won't commit to him playing at all this season, which is crazy to think about. That backfield is now going to be led by Nick Chubb and Dameon Pierce. Nick Chubb has 1 knee, maybe. Terry McLaurin gets the bag, ends his hold-in. $44.65 million guaranteed over 3 years. And Jaden Daniels gets his wide receiver 1 back. I think my tune is starting to change about Dallas wanting to go back to Washington this year. Vikings brought home Adam Thielen in a trade, which is great for him. It was a great video. It was cute. He got traded back home, and he was telling his kids, hey, we're going home. That's always fun. Jaguars 2-way rookie Travis Hunter is cleared. They still plan to use him both ways, and his camp reps have been 50-50. He won the Heisman, won the receiver award. He is the best receiver coming out of this draft, which is crazy. But him playing both ways, I'm still a little nervous about. And again, Matthew Golden, been showcasing that 4.29 speed. Made a beautiful contested 39-yard catch in practice. That wide receiver was dying for a true alpha. And Jordan Love might have just found him. So that's what's going on around the league. Baseball is next. And we're starting in Queens first because Nolan McLean just made some history. Then we're shooting over to the Yankees, trying to steady the ship a little bit. Followed by some league headlines. Cal Riley's record chase. Zach Wheeler's brutal injury. Brewers are wobbling. We'll sprinkle in some U.S. Open quick hitters a little bit later, and we're going to close with some fantasy football, some high-end floor running backs, and some late-round tight ends. Plenty left to talk about. Keep it right here. The vibe has flipped in Queens, and the rally really started with the Nolan McLean debut. The kid gets called up, goes 5 1/3 scoreless against Seattle, 8 strikeouts, 2 hits, and the crowd goes nuts, flashing all the pitches, high 70s curve, sweeper, cutter, sinker, heater in the high 90s. Not a bad debut if I do say so myself. Then Edwin Diaz comes in, finishes it off, gets save number 24, continuing to be the best closer in baseball. And the big three, Lindor, Soto, and Alonso, got the job done for a 3-1 win. Okay, that's start one for him. Then on to Atlanta. McLean goes right back out and stacks 7 strong innings, a rare feat for Mets pitchers nowadays. Win number 2. 4 hits, 2 runs, 0 walks. All while the lineup dropped 21 hits. Soto goes yard, drove in 4. Brett Beatty has a career-high 4 hits. Game 2, the bats continue to stay hot, too. McNeil and Vientos both banged 2, 6 homers in total in the game. And I guess it's contagious because Clay Holmes gives you 6 1/3. Yes, 6 1/3 for a guy that can't get out of the 4th. Steady work. They get a 9-2 win in Atlanta. Atlanta took the finale 4-3, but more importantly, the Mets left town with a series W in the house of horrors that Atlanta has been. And some much-needed, we can do this oxygen. Then they roll right into the monumental Philly series at City. And I was there for Game 1. The place was jumping. They go down 3-0 early, and then it just avalanched. Luis Torrens matched his career high with a 5-ribby night, filling in for Francisco Alvarez, who's hurt. Mark Vientos has come alive in his last couple games. Rips a 2-run RBI double. Jeff McNeil pushes across another 3. And the Mets, for once in their life, hit with runners in scoring position, going 11 for 19. A rare feat for this team the whole year. They put up a 13-3 answer. Now, Senga wasn't his best, but the Metsies got after Christopher Sanchez, who gave up a season-high 6 runs. And on top of it, we even had a 10-minute delay in center field over a parabolic mic that's for TBS, for SNY. Alec Boehm, leave it to the Phillies to blame something else for why they're losing than their own actual performance. Never a dull moment, right? Phillies postgame even ripped into Alec Boehm, calling him an idiot for pointing something out that had nothing to do with the game and delaying Sanchez's ability to get back on the field. It was a 19-minute delay. You cost your pitcher. Okay, so fine. Game 2. Late inning gut check. Diaz came in early and struck out 4 of 5, cleaning up Ryan Haseley's mess, who coughed up the lead to a Harrison Bader 3-run home run. Even Lindor had to give him a little bit of credit, and the boos were so loud for Ryan Helsley. But that 9th inning with Diaz was a chef's kiss. Tie game, 4 straight singles off Philly's big trade deadline acquisition, Johan Duran. Marte, bang. Alonso, bang. Beatty, bang. Then here comes Nimmo. Boop. Little 6-5 single walk-off. How you doing? Okay? Now, Game 3, a.k.a. the McLean Show. The guy that got this whole rally started. And it was historic stuff, literally. Not an exaggeration. He's the first Mets pitcher to ever win his first 3 starts, and he did it with 8 scoreless on 95 pitches. Faced the minimum into the 7th, and then gave up a couple bloops here and there. Mendoza let him sit, forced weak contact to escape an 8th-inning jam. He now sits at a .89 ERA with 21 strikeouts through 3 starts. That's the lowest rookie ERA over the first 3 in Mets history, which is a crazy stat to say out loud, knowing that the pitchers the Mets have had in their franchise history. That's better than Seaver's 1.19. It's better than Doc, and it's better than deGrom. And on top of it, those 21 strikeouts only trail Matt Harvey and Nolan Ryan over a Mets pitcher's first 3 starts. Matt Harvey and Nolan Ryan. And the bats stay hot, too. Vientos continues to rake. He added another RBI single and a 2-run home run to really, hammer it home. Nimmo had 3 hits. 6-0 final. Little suck this. How's the sweep? How you doing? The kid came up, saw the moment in front of him, didn't back down, and he attacked the hill. And honestly, it definitely lit a spark under a bunch of these guys' asses, too. They hit .568 with runners in scoring position for the whole series, and now they're 7-2 versus Philly this year. So now they own the tiebreak on the season, meaning if they finish with the same record somehow at the end of the year, they win the division. They cut the division gap down to 4 games, and they have a 4-gamer with Philly from September 8th to September 11th, a.k.a. it's business time. And the kids' theme keeps on rolling, too. Jonah Tong, a.k.a. Baby Lincecum, is finally getting the call-up and starting Friday against Miami. He's been the best pitcher in the minors, 10-5 with a 1.43 ERA. He's got 179 strikeouts in 113 innings across AA and AAA. He's almost got 200 strikeouts on the year. Opponents are hitting 148 against him. Management is playing it slow, saying, the plan is turn by turn and there's matchups. But let's be honest. This is the next shot in the arm that this team needs. And meanwhile, the team is holding the players accountable, a.k.a. Senga. They want him to be more consistent. And honestly, they say he might need more rest. Okay, message sent. David Stearns plays no games, and he has a short list of friends. So if you're not doing your job, there is a very short leash. And you can expect to have a conversation in his office sooner rather than later if you're fucking up. McLean just set the table and made history. And unfairly, Mets fans are going to look to Tong to do either the same thing or be even better. So we're going to have to temper our expectations a little bit. But, oh God, man, oh man. If this kid comes up and dominates just how McLean is doing, the Mets are on a fast track to success. One quick note, Francisco Alvarez in his rehab game ropes a double, and then his next at-bat gets plunked on the left hand and fractures his pinky. So he said he's going to try because he's a tough son of a bitch, but not what you want to see for a guy who's already down rehabbing, trying to get better from a broken thumb. Now, let's take it to the Bronx because it's time to get on the Yankees a little bit. From getting dog-walked to beating teams that they're supposed to. But let's not sugarcoat that Boston series. The Red Sox came into your house, into your stadium, and beat the hell out of you. Game 1, 6-3 loss to Boston. Rookie Roman Anthony owned the night completely. He's got an RBI single and then a 9th-inning 2-run bomb. Boston went 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position, and they still beat New York because they kicked it around. The error machine continues to plow its way through Yankees defense. Nathaniel Lowe's RBI double in the 7th put Boston ahead for good. Lucas Giolito gave up 3 and 4 2/3, but they still couldn't get after it because the Sox bullpen stacked a 5 1/3 scoreless. Not to mention, Chappie comes in and nails his 23rd save of the year. Luis Hill came in, walked 5 in 5. Another disappointing outing from someone who was supposed to be back in May. So let's go on to Game 2. 1-0 Boston win in Yankee Stadium. They let Brian Bello, who's quietly had a pretty good year, just shove his way on the hill and do whatever he wants. 7 innings, 3 hits, only 4 base runners the whole game. And with that loss, Boston clinches the season series. Connor Wong drove in the only run. Garrett Whitlock struck out Stanton on 3 outside pitches to end the 8th, and Chapman grabbed yet another save against his old club. Yankees were held to 3 hits or fewer for the 9th time this season. It's just another example of the home run or bust mentality with this squad. So, okay, 2 games down, 2 to go. Worst case, let's get the split. Yeah, good luck. Game 3, a 12-1 Boston win. Again, in your house. And this one got sideways quick. Crochet goes out, was in full command of everything. He went 7 strong, racked up 11 strikeouts. Trevor Story goes deep, drove in 3. Omar Narvaez hit a late 2-run shot. And as for the Yankees, Stanton just continues to drive in useless home runs. He's been hot, and I will give him credit, but he is the king of either up 12 or down 12 and hit a home run. Meanwhile, Will Warren, who might have supposedly been the kind of savior, or maybe not, gets battered around, and Boston bang out 17 hits against them. Even after getting embarrassed at home, though, the schedule softens up a little bit, and they walked into a get-right series against the Nationals because Game 1, 10-5 win over the Nats. Cody Bellinger drove in 3. Ben Rice, shout out Rice on the mics, hit a 435-foot tank. And Jazz Lodge, number 25, and Cam Schlittler worked 6 scoreless, which you love to see. Jason Dominguez got after it too, a little 3-run shot. And it's a good thing they did all that, too, because they had to white knuckle it in the 9th. The Nats put up 5, a Jacob Young grand slam. Damage was done already, but just goes to show how that bullpen looks. 10-1, all of a sudden 10-5. Anyway, Game 2, take care of business again. 5-1 win. Stanton had his best night in a while, to be honest with you. Bases clearing double, and then hits a 451-foot nuke, which is his 5th home run in 7 games. And Luis Hill bounced back after his bad start. Looked a little better, goes 5, only gave up 1 run. Listen, the Yankees beat up a solid pitcher in Mackenzie Gore, which is what you want to see. But again, it's home run or bust with this team. The big problem is the big, giant, enormous, astronomical elephant in the room. It's Anthony Volpe. He gets benched to, quote-unquote, reset himself, and then only to return to go to the lineup to go to 0 for 4. This slump is real, and the fans are only getting louder and louder. He got a 2-game mental reset after going 1 for 28, and then he still comes back into the lineup, goes 0 for 4. So now that's 1 for 32, hitting around 206. And, not to mention, he's leading the majors with 17 errors. In fact, he did what every baseball player dreads and made 2 outs in 1 inning because they batted around. And on top of it, when they were up so big, he got struck out by a fucking position player late in the game. He's been out in front of breaking balls and just expanding his zone so much. He looks so lost at the plate. And Boone just continues to feed the fans the same old garbage, saying to keep the faith, and he's wired right, and he's got good swings, and he hits the ball hard, but it's just right at somebody. The fans don't want to hear that. The fans are restless. They don't give a shit. They're looking at a shortstop, which was Derek Jeter, and then Didi, and then this, and this guy was supposed to be the next Jeter. That's what Cashman sold them on. The fans are restless. I got a starting shortstop that you missed the window on sending him down to try and fix him, and now you have to just deal with it and try to get him right while he's playing, which might cost you games. He's batting below the Mendoza line and leading the league in errors. Yeah, I'm allowed to be pretty annoyed with his play, and also, honestly, I'm allowed to question your management, Boone. What are we doing? I understand trying to give the kid a rope and, like, let him try to figure it out and play through it, but it's past that now. It's past. He needs to sit. You traded for a shortstop that plays a better shortstop for him. If I was a Yankee fan and I watched him throw a ball 10 feet over Goldschmidt's head one more time, I might literally throw my fucking remote just as far as he threw that ball into the stands. I sound like I'm bitching and moaning like I am a Yankee fan, and I promise you I'm not even close to a Yankee fan, but I'm in touch with the people. I understand the Yankee fans' vitriol that they have with this kid. It has to stop. All right. Anyway, let's do some stories from around the league, okay? Cal Riley is just on a video game level heater, okay? Sunday, he hits number 48 and 49 to set the single-season catcher home run record, passing Salvador Perez, okay? Then, the next night, hits another one, becomes just the second switch hitter ever to hit 50 in a season. You know who the other guy was? Mickey fucking Mantle. He's also got 9 multi-home run games as a switch hitter, which also passes Mickey Mantle's record of 8. He's got 31 games left to chase Mantle's 54 and Griffey's Mariners mark of 56. And honestly, if he stays hot, he might even pass Judge's 63. He's done this all while playing a ton behind the plate and in a park that honestly isn't home run friendly either. Only 9 of his home runs have been when he's de-aging. So we might see some history here. Moving on to, this is a little bit of a sore spot. Even though he is a Philly, I got a soft spot for Zach Wheeler. He's done for the year with thoracic outlet surgery syndrome, however you want to put it. It's pretty much a death sentence for pitchers. The timeline is 6 to 8 months, but realistically and based on history of this surgery, he probably will never be the same pitcher that he was, which is a shame too, because I've said it before, you know, the worst thing the Wilpons did was let him walk and go to the Phillies. And if he kept this trajectory up, he was probably going to go into the Hall of Fame. And the worst part was he would go into the Hall of Fame as a Philly, not a Met. I mean, he was having a ridiculous season this year. He had 195 strikeouts in 149 innings with a 2.70 ERA. That's literally one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he's gone like just like that. Now, the Phillies do still have depth, I guess, with Sanchez and Suarez and Luzardo and Nola, but there's no replacing a guy like Wheeler. There just isn't. Staying in the NL, too, the Brewers, they might have peaked at the wrong time. They look like the best team in baseball right now, and they have the best record and climbed the charts, but you got to peak in September because now their all-star closer, Trevor McGill, he's on the 15-day IL with a flexor strain, which AKA probably means Tommy John. And before that, he blew 3 of his last 4 save attempts. If the playoffs were to start today, I think the Mets play either the Dodgers or the Padres, which would mean that the Phillies would play the Brewers or the Cubs, or the Brewers would play the Cubs. But either way, this is another case of I'll see it when I believe it in the playoffs for the Brewers. They always seem to choke it away. That's it for baseball right now. But I want to touch on the U.S. Open because this is a New York-based show, and we are so blessed that we get a tennis major in our city every year. And Some people might scoff at tennis, but let me tell you something right now. Seeing tennis in person, man, it's electric. It's so fun. So just a quick couple of hitters on some of the Americans right now. Coco Gauff, winner last year, survived a 3-setter, 10 double faults. She got broken 6 times. She's working on her serve. They're trying to figure things out, but she won 6-4, 6-7, 7-5. She barely pulled it out, so good for her. Francis Tiafoe rolled through round 2. 15 USO wins since 2022. He loves Ash. He literally was quoted as saying, it just feels different here. I feed off the crowd. Madison Keys, she had a rough one, man. She had 89 unforced errors and 14 double faults in 3-match upset against Renata Zarua, whatever it is. I was in the stands for that one. I was at the U.S. Open that day. I knew she was going to lose. I could just tell. Keys didn't have it, and Renata is a smart player. It was like 11:30. The sun was slamming down on Arthur Ashe, and whenever Keys was in the sun, Renata just played defense, made her play in the sun, went back and forth, made her make the errors. And then whenever it was her turn to serve in the sun, she just tried to hammer her serve home as fast as she could to get out of the sun. She had a game plan. She stuck to it, and it worked. Hey, that's how sports go, right? And my boy Medvedev, I like him. I think he's a good player, but he's also a fucking head case as of late. He's not wrong. He was a photographer walked on the court between serves on match point, which is like a big no-no. And Medvedev lost his mind. He rallied to a 5th set, and then he lost it. But he, like, blew up about it, blamed the photographer. And then the photographer's credentials got pulled, too, which is, I don't know, it's a little aggressive for me. But to be honest, it's kind of on brand for New York because New Yorkers don't give a fuck where they're walking. They just need to get where they're going, right? All right. Well, that's it for the diamond and a little dash of tennis. Fantasy football closes the show. I got Cowboys fallout with Micah gone, Chiefs wide receiver pivots with Rashee Rice out, and I got some high floor running backs to stabilize your roster, and little late round tight end darts that actually hit. So stick around. You don't want to miss it. Here we are, on to fantasy. Time to help you win your league. Quick heads up, though. This is some late fantasy news to get you ready for kickoff. If you want the full deep dive, the rankings, the tiers, the sleepers, the fades, the stacking maps, the who to avoid, that's all in last week's episode, the Fantasy Extravaganza. That's your master file. I promise you, if you listen to it and you pay attention, you will not be disappointed in the info that I give you. And by the way, also, don't be afraid to DM me if you have any questions. But this is the update since then, because some news broke over the past couple days. Rashee Rice is suspended for 6 games, and he isn't going to appeal it. So that's why the Chiefs kept 8 wide receivers for a reason, I guess. Seems like they might have had a little bit of inside information that he'd be gone for these 6 weeks. So while his ADP falls, and don't be afraid to snag him if he falls real late, here are some players that you can snag late at a discount that will do well while he's gone. And these are Kansas City players. So as a side note, Mahomes is still Mahomes, and he has a little bit of that Aaron Rodgers in him, where once he finds a guy that he trusts, it doesn't matter if it's the next guy in line or it's Peanut Boy out of the stands. If he finds someone that he likes, he sticks with them. So this is just a small disclaimer that any one of these guys could blow up. But first on the list is Hollywood Brown. He's kind of probably the safest play. He's got wide receiver 2 usage, and he gets the red zone looks. But Xavier Worthy is where I'd spend my money. He's a little bit boomer bust flex option to be sure, but even with his rise in ADP now, you can probably snag him as a bench player with potential in the 7th. He's got explosive touches. He takes the ball out of the backfield sometimes. He takes deep shots. Xavier Worthy is where I'd spend my money. Juju, honestly, I forgot he was even on this roster. He's boring floor, even in a full PPR. He gets slot volume on third down. I don't know. I'd pass on him unless you're in a 16-man league and you're desperate. I'd pass on him. Now, some other players of note that have big fantasy implications. First on the list is Najee Harris. Well, with his bad eye, nobody thought he'd be ready to go. He got activated. So it doesn't exactly guarantee week 1, but that means that he's tracking and he's probably going to see some snaps. Now, expect a committee with Omarion Hampton. And I would say my outlook, early season, Najee's going to get some touches, but he's probably going to get the goal line and the short yardage touches, whereas Omarion is going to get like the big space touches, the dump offs, whatever. They're both going to be flex worthy early in the season, but I fully expect that Omarion Hampton is going to explode on the scene, and it's only going to take like 1 or 2 big runs for Harbaugh to go, okay, you're an every down back, and we'll give you the occasional breather with Najee. Next on the list is Tony Pollard. He gets the runway in Tennessee. He is locked into an RB2 role with volume and pass game, with Tajay Spears going on the IR with an ankle injury. The only people behind him are Julius Chestnut and Khalil Mullins. So let me know if you've ever heard of any of them before. So maybe those guys are deep bench stashes if Tony Pollard gets hurt. But honestly, it's not even worth it. So if you're doing like a 0 running back strategy or like a hero running back strat and you have your guy or you have your 3 solid receivers and now you're looking for like a RB1, RB2 kind of guy in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, Pollard is the guy, 100%. Now, Joe Mixon to the IR. A lot of people have been drafting Joe Mixon because, he might come back, he might not. Well, he's on the IR now. He's out at least 4 games, and the coach has been ho-hum about if he's even going to play this season, which leaves Nick Chubb to be the lead man. But if you watch Nick Chubb's college career and you watch his professional career, he has about a half a knee on his one person, and it's also his 7th year at age 29. So that leaves Dameon Pierce. He's the change-up pace back, but he's got experience with this team and in this system. So if I was a betting man, I'd be putting my money on Pierce. I would say he's probably going to be the lead back sooner rather than later, whether it be from injury, from Chubb, or just like a performance takeover. Now, Micah getting traded has a water effect ripple on everything. So the Cowboys defense now gets way worse without him there. Nobody to sack the quarterback, nobody to rush the quarterback, more time behind. That leads to more shootouts. So that bumps Dak, that bumps CD, that bumps Pickens, and honestly it bumps Jake Ferguson too. All their volume. There really is no running game to speak of in Dallas, and if they're going to be down in games, Dak is going to have to play some hero ball. So he may throw some more interceptions, but honestly, the yards that he's going to be throwing for, it'll make up for it. And now with Micah going to the Packers defense, if you're looking for a streamer option week to week and just need a couple sacks and need like 6 points, 8 points, 5 points out of your defense, Packers might be a pretty solid option to stream for the year. So how about another scenario for you? let's say you're drafting 10th out of 12 or 12 out of 14 or even 12 out of 12. And for whatever reason, Nico Collins or Malik Neighbors or Puka Nacua falls to you in the 12th. And now you're on the wraparound and you don't want to go receiver. It's important to make sure you build your floor as high as you can. That's the whole point in fantasy football, right? Get guys that will raise the floor of your team in total to the highest it can be. So let's say you take that big name wide receiver or even Brock Bowers or something, right? Okay, whatever. Who cares, right? These are the guys to take to raise your floor on the wraparound to keep your team balanced and also explosive too. So first on the list is Derrick Henry. He might not fall to you that late, but Derrick Henry has an elite floor and he's got a super high ceiling with a super positive script offense. Lamar being there, it's light boxes, and Mockenden loves to feed running backs. The only risk is his health. Production isn't really the worry. Again, it's a far shot that Derrick Henry falls that far to you. But if he does, that's number 1A on the list to take on the wraparound. Next on the list, Josh Jacobs. He's somebody who definitely will be there. Okay, he's a bell cow on an ascending offense in Green Bay. And even if Green Bay throws more, he is the closer and he's the goal line guy. Marshawn Lloyd's dinged up, and now with the addition of Micah on the defense, if the defense becomes as good as it looks like it might be, you're going to run into a lot of game scripts where you're running the ball late to kill the clock, and that falls right to Josh Jacobs. So that's great. Next on the list that you can definitely grab even later is Isaiah Pacheco. Okay, for some reason he's falling in drafts. I don't know why. I guess maybe it's because of Kareem Hunt, but his burst looks back. The depth chart behind him is very thin. Again, don't really worry about Kareem Hunt. He might vulture a TD here and there or maybe grab a pass here and there. But honestly, Pacheco is one open hole away from a huge play. And the Chiefs, without receivers now, and Kelsey aging, you're probably going to see a lot of dump downs to Pacheco. Next on the list, Tony Pollard. Okay, Tony Pollard, I mentioned it before, the Tajay Spears injury gives Tony Pollard super volume early. Okay, Cam Ward looks to be the truth. At least he talks like he's the truth. I'm putting some stock in him. And Cam's got some running ability, and he's got an arm. And Calvin Ridley is no slouch. So Cam's going to want to throw the ball to Calvin Ridley, which once that starts happening, the box is going to be lighter. So Pollard's going to get some run game, and Pollard also has some pass game usage. I don't know if you know, rookie QB means checkdowns. Tony Pollard is a great pickup late. Aaron Jones, next on the list, still efficient, and he gets some catches. Jordan Mason is definitely going to siphon some carries. The head coach already said this is going to be a committee, and Jordan Mason is definitely the goal line guy. But Jones might be the better every down play, and he's getting super discounted in drafts. So those guys are definitely the guys that you can take even third, fourth round that could function as an RB1 on your team, or at least have potential to be an RB1 on your team. Now, if you're going to punt on running backs, fine. But if you're going to punt on tight ends, that's a different story. You know how it goes. You either have to pay up early for a stud, or I'm going to be sitting around watching Red Zone on a Sunday hoping that Njoku can snag a touchdown to give me 8 points for the day. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you punt on tight end early and want to snag those high-end receivers or high-end running backs, There's some late round guys that you can snag that will give you consistency with big game potential. Okay? First on the list is Tucker Kraft. He is a sneaky yards after catch monster. When he gets the ball, he's thick, he's strong, he bowls guys over. He was top 12 in yards per route run last year too. And now with the addition of Golden, the deep ball is going to be open. So Kraft is going to eat over the middle. Tucker Kraft is a sneaky, very, very good tight end this year. Next on the list, Hunter Henry. Okay, I know. Hunter Henry, he's the guy that everybody picks up in drafts when waiver wire, when they have their guy on bye, whatever. Not so much anymore, man. A rookie quarterback's best friend is their tight end. And this is May's second year. And when May played last year, Hunter Henry, that was his security blanket. They were in sync. So May is going to look his way more often than not right away, and also red zone targets with Hunter Henry. Tyler Higbee, he's another one. He's a waiver wire fodder guy, but he's viable while the rookie Terrence Ferguson ramps up. He's going to get consolidated target tree. He's going to get tight end work. He's going to Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, whatever. They're all going to double those guys. So over the middle is going to be Tyler Higbee. So if you're looking for 8 to 10, 12 points, it plays. Now, the last two on this list, they're a little shaky, but they're definitely possible. First is Mason Taylor from the Jets. I said it before earlier in the NFL segment. He's a rookie, but he's super athletic, and Justin Fields can't throw the ball more than fucking 12 yards, okay? Garrett's going to be double-teamed because he's the only one there, and they're going to stack the box against Brees. So that leaves Mason Taylor open over the middle. Just on volume alone, he could easily be a tight end too. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points a week with the potential for a touchdown of 15, you take that all day. And then he's probably not even being drafted or going, I don't know, in the last round of super deep drafts. And the last guy that falls in that category, same thing, is Dallas Goedert. He's not really like a late dart, but he is discounted tight end 1 production. So if you miss out on the elites, he is probably one of your best pivots. I think you'll be all right with any of these guys late. The rule with tight end is consistency. But you don't want to chase low variance nobodies either. Okay, I mean, yeah, the elite guys, Kittle, McBride, Bowers, they have the highest elite game rates. But if you don't want to take that guy, if you don't want to spend the price that they're going for, if you punt on tight end and you want usable weeks with some spike potential, not just the 6 point every week guys, those are the guys to take. Tucker Kraft, Hunter Henry, Tyler Higbee, Mason Taylor, Dallas Goedert. They won't do you wrong, I promise. Well, that's the board. Draft smart. Don't chase last week's box score. And remember, floor wins you September. Ceiling wins you December. Now, let's go steal a league and let's land this plane, huh? All right, that's episode 28 in the books. Covered all the locals. Jets appear to have a plan with Fields. A Giants quarterback room that actually kind of makes sense. Micah to Green Bay, flipping the entire NFC on its head. We hit the diamond. Mets might go on a run, and Nolan McLean is already writing franchises first. Yankees steadying the ship as best they can with a soft schedule ahead. Cal Riley is launching into history. Wheeler's brutal news, and the Brewers might have peaked too early. And we sprinkled in some U.S. Open chaos before closing with some late fantasy news. don't forget the full blueprint is in last week's Fantasy Extravaganza episode. If you want to dominate your league, make sure you give that a listen. I promise you, this is an Ian Rice guarantee. If you listen to that episode, you will not do bad this year in fantasy. So, do me a favor. If you had fun, if you like what you heard, tap 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening on. Drop a quick review even if you want. Just a little, hey, how you doing? This was great. And send this to a friend who argues about sports like it's a full-time job, but really, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, all right? The mailbag is open for next week. Fantasy start and sits. Send me your roster. Jets and Giants panic meter. Mets and Yankees vibes. Hit the DMs with it all. I listen to everything. I respond to everything. And make sure you check in every Wednesday for the weekly mic check on the Instagram stories. That's at Rice on the Radio. Polls, sliders, quizzes for the week. Let your voice be heard. I want to hear the pulse of the people. Small programming note as football ramps up here. We might spin up a second quick episode some weeks here and there. A little early recap, late week preview, maybe some potential collabs. So keep an eye on the socials for any schedule changes. But hoodie and short season is upon us. Don't be mad that summer's over. Just be happy that football is back. As always, spread good energy in this world and make sure you tell someone you love them. I am your host, Ian Rice, and this has been Rice on the Mics. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next week.